It's been peaceful here in the Five Worlds, or is it 6? For a dragon's age. We now have 12,000 treasure, or is it 14,000?
What a...
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Sports Talk. And that is exactly what we're away to do. We are away to burn it all down. We're away to criticize all of it, no doubt. Because that is usually how these things go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the world of Spyro. We're going to try and play through all of it right now. I'm going to try my best, at least anyway. The plan will be to play through all of it and go through, of course, all the many sports which make our world go around so blissfully. Well, the main one I think I want to talk about right now, ahead of the Sochi Grand Prix in Russia, is Formula 1. You could probably tell I was going to Formula 1 there. So, another win for Ferrari. 3 wins back-to-back for Ferrari. Charles Leclerc denied 3 victories in a row because of a last-minute tactical decision, which was not at all at the fault of any of the drivers. Just circumstances led that way, and we saw Charles Leclerc be denied his 3rd victory by Sebastian Vettel, or Vettel as we call him here in the UK, by most people anyway. He won his first Grand Prix of the year at long last, and all I can say is thank you, Seb, for proving all of those idiots on the internet wrong. Because I must admit, I was getting rather fed up of seeing all these columns talk about if Sebastian Vettel was the worst driver on the Formula 1 grid. I couldn't believe what I was reading. This is a 4-time world champion, right? He's won twice the titles of Alonso. He has outraced Alonso for titles, right? And you'll say, oh, well, Red Bull had the better car. It's like, yeah, well, right now, Lewis has the better car. Right? Seb's not in the better car, and apart from this year, he's pretty much been the guy to take it to Lewis for the last couple of years. And of course, like I said, 4-time world champion, twice the amount of Alonso, quadruple the amount of Raikkonen and Button, and people have the absolute audacity to say that this man is the worst driver on the Formula 1 grid. Thank you, Seb, for winning. You idiots needed to calm the fuck down. I think that's very safe to say. So, how does this make things interesting? Well, it means that right now we have 2 drivers who are neck and neck for 3rd place in the Drivers' Championship. They are running an extremely impressive. They're on an extremely impressive run, is what I meant to say. But as we look at the league as it is, we've got league. Oh my god! Right, blah. Sorry, I'm caught in 2 worlds right now. I'm too busy focusing on other things. Right. Lewis Hamilton is leading the championship. He's a couple of points shy of hitting the 300-point mark. Pretty much tells you how dominant he has been this year. 2nd place, 60 points back. More than 60 points back, actually. Bottas, his teammate. So, safe to say right now, Mercedes look like they're going to win the Constructors. And it looks fairly unlikely that Lewis Hamilton isn't going to win the title. It looks like he is going to win the title. But what we have seen so far in the second half of the season can only make us excited for the prospect of that someone may actually be faster than the Mercedes come developments at this point next year. And Mercedes might not even be in the lead of the championship next year. We will have to see, because as I said, in third place, joint third place, Charles Leclerc, 200 points, Max Verstappen in the Red Bull, 200 points. All things considered, Max Verstappen proving he's a better driver than Charles Leclerc. We had one race, I think, where it really mattered that Charles beat Max the only time it was ever a straight fight with equally fast cars, and that was when Max Verstappen beat Charles Leclerc. So I'm maintaining that Max Verstappen is still a quicker driver than Charles Leclerc. Leclerc very methodical, very self-critical. Max is the same, but he's got a struggling car, and we say struggling with a pinch of salt because they are still best of the rest behind Ferrari and Mercedes. But Max is such a good driver. I mean, he's Lewis Hamilton's equal. He's better than Vettel. He proved he's better than Ricciardo, and in turn proved that he's better than the likes of Hülkenberg. He is a above average driver, minimum. You stick him in. If you stuck him in any other Formula 1 car on the grid, he would overachieve in it. Because that's what he does. Because he is that good. Am I saying he's like Michael Schumacher level? No. No, of course not. Because we can't make that. We can't start talking about a comparison with Schumacher. This boy is a 6-time world champion, in my opinion. Like, Lewis is a way to become a 6-time champion. So can we start to compare him to Michael? Absolutely. And what's great about that is that they're two completely different drivers. Like, everyone would think the Schumacher style is the best way, but here's Hamilton, completely different driver to Schumacher, and he's just brilliant to watch, isn't he? You know, you love watching these guys because they are something else to watch when they're behind the wheel of a car. So Lewis Hamilton's probably going to win. Getting back on track, 4th place, or technically 5th. Sebastian Vettel, a couple of points behind those other two, which makes it surprising that they allowed Seb to beat Charles Leclerc. And this is where we are going to talk about the race a little bit. A lot of criticism, particularly from your hardcore Formula 1 fans, about how Charles should have been the one to pit early. Well, here's my argument to that. If they had pitted early, right, Lewis went long anyway. So if they had pitted early, Lewis would have done what Lewis does best, and when you pit early, he stretches the tires out so long. Charles beat him at his own game. That was always the intention, you feel, from Ferrari, right? But here there was a problem. On the first lap, there was a couple of collisions, which led to Nico Hülkenberg pitting and putting on hard tires. Now, at a certain point in the race, we're talking a couple laps before Seb pitted. The way things stood, with traffic and the low factor of overtaking, and with Hülkenberg due to make another stop, Hülkenberg was a way to inherit the lead of the race. And how do we know this is true? Because the following strategy is what made Vettel win. They pit Sebastian because they knew Seb needed to come out ahead of Hülkenberg, and that's exactly what happened. Seb made the early pit, and that's why they did it. They did it purely because of Hülkenberg, right? Because if they hadn't, then Hülkenberg would be standing where Vettel stood. That's kind of painful for Renault when you think about it, that they were that close. I can't skip this.
Thank you for releasing me, Spyro. Free 10 dragons in the artisan world, then find the balloonist. He'll transport you to the next world.
What about Nasty Nork? I'm going after him.
Find dragons first. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, that's not really useful information. Right. Where was I? Just let me gather up these gems. Right, yes, of course. So, disappointing for Renault, considering what could have potentially been theirs. But again, congratulations to Seb. So, right now, the only other talking point in Formula 1 is the fact that Nico Hülkenberg doesn't have a seat for next season. Everyone thought he was going to go to Haas. Haas said that they're happy with Grosjean. I really don't know why. I'm not saying Grosjean's a bad driver, but it has not worked out for him at Haas. Definitely not the Lotus fairy tale he had when he was Kimi Räikkönen's teammate at Lotus, of course. Disappointing times. Very disappointing times. We hope Nico finds his seat. And I'm not sure we have to wait for 2021, but I'm hoping we see new additions to the Formula 1 grid, because it will be very gratifying. For definite. He's a good driver, and I've always maintained that he deserves a shot at a big team. It's not going to happen though. Red Bull hire from within their own youth system, and I mean, from what they've produced, I mean, why wouldn't they? Mercedes, you know, have reaffirmed their faith in Bottas and Hamilton. Ferrari, Leclerc definitely staying. Vettel, question mark. I mean, he could go to Red Bull. I mean, they wouldn't say no to having him back. You know, should he want to partner Max? But why would he want to partner Max? He still wants to be world champion. And Max has made a fool out of everyone. If he made a fool out of Ricardo, and Ricardo made a fool out of Vettel, then going to Red Bull would not be a good move for Sebastian Vettel, I think. I'm a Kimi Räikkönen fan at heart, but to be honest, the more I watch Formula 1, the more I become a fan of Max Verstappen, and the fact he's got his orange army of Dutch fans that follow him. It's just one of those things, you know, it's one of those things that people will remember in history. You know, he had his orange army wherever he went, and even when he wasn't winning races, he was still getting driver of the race. Max Verstappen is a quality driver. And he will continue to get better. Food is excellent. You probably know that. If you're playing Spyro, also remember to kill these guys, because even after you've killed them, because if you get the chance to get them again, you get lives, and lives are important. We've probably covered most of the Formula 1 stories right now. I mean, Robert Kubica leaving. Williams, no big surprise there. Sebastian Ocon was getting Hülkenberg's seat at Renault. It'll be good to see Ocon back at least. That's one positive to take away from it. I love this game. It's just aesthetically pleasing to look at. Well, always good to see, of course. I do worry about Formula One. Well, once we cover something more interesting, I shall go and I shall tell you.
When you free a dragon or step on one of their platforms,
after you've freed all the...
Watch the dragonfly, Spyro. His color indicates his power. When he eats butterflies, he stays strong, like me.
Spyro!
I see you've been busy rescuing dragons, Spyro. You may travel to the Peacekeeper's world if you like. Are you ready to go?